Have you ever sent a message and then spent the next 2 hours wondering if you sounded rude? Or replayed a conversation that ended 5 minutes ago, trying to figure out what the other person really meant? Maybe you remember exactly what you said, how they responded, and even the pause before they answered. And suddenly, your brain starts creating possibilities. What if I said something wrong? What if they're upset with me? What if they think differently about me now? That's overthinking. And the strange thing is, you may not actually be trying to create problems. Your brain may simply be trying to prevent them. It believes that if you analyze the situation enough, you might find certainty, avoid a mistake, or prepare yourself for whatever happens next. Overthinking often feels like problem solving. And that's one reason why it can be so difficult to recognize. When you're thinking constantly, it can feel like you're doing something productive. You're trying to understand what happened. You're trying to predict what might happen next. You're trying to make sure you don't make the same mistake again. But there is an important difference between problem solving and overthinking. Problem solving usually moves toward an answer. You identify the situation, consider your options, make a decision, and move forward. Overthinking often does something very different. It keeps asking the same question without creating any real resolution. You analyze the conversation. Then you analyze your analysis. Then you imagine another possibility. Then another. And suddenly, something that happened for 5 minutes has taken over your entire evening. Maybe you sent a message and there was no reply. At first, you think, they're probably busy. 10 minutes later, your brain asks, what if they're upset with me? Then another thought appears. Did I say something wrong? So you check the message again. You read it 3 or 4 times, looking for something you may have missed. Nothing has actually changed, but your internal conversation keeps getting bigger. This is one of the frustrating things about overthinking. The more you think, the more possibilities your brain can create. And because every possibility feels possible, your mind keeps searching for one final answer that may not exist. You may think you're getting closer to certainty, but sometimes you're simply going around the same mental loop again and again. Your brain naturally looks for uncertainty. When something feels unclear, your mind wants to understand it. And when uncertainty feels uncomfortable, one response can be to think more. The problem is that thinking cannot always remove uncertainty. Some situations simply don't have a guaranteed answer. You cannot completely control what another person thinks about you. You cannot know exactly what will happen tomorrow. You cannot predict every possible outcome of a decision. And you can't go back and edit every conversation you've already had. So your mind may keep When your mind is stuck somewhere in the past or racing toward the future, bring your attention back to the present. Try a simple grounding exercise. Look around and notice 5 things you can see. Then notice 4 things you can physically feel. Maybe it's your feet touching the floor, your hands resting on your lap, the fabric of your clothes, or the chair supporting your body. Next, listen for 3 sounds around you. Then notice 2 things you can smell. And finally, take 1 slow, comfortable breath. You don't have to force yourself to stop thinking. You are simply giving your attention somewhere real to go. The room around you is real. Your feet on the floor are real. The sounds around you are real. And right now, in this moment, you are here. Grounding doesn't mean that every problem suddenly disappears. It simply helps you step out of the mental story for a moment and reconnect with what is actually happening around you. When we're caught in overthinking, our attention can become completely focused on imagined futures, past conversations, or situations we cannot control. Bringing your attention back to the present can create a small pause between the thought and your reaction. And sometimes, that pause is exactly what you need. You can breathe. You can notice. You can choose what to do next instead of automatically following the thought. Everyone overthinks sometimes. It's a normal human experience. But if overthinking regularly starts affecting your sleep, relationships, work, concentration, or your ability to enjoy everyday life, it may be worth paying closer attention to the pattern. You don't have to wait until everything feels overwhelming before asking for support. Counseling for anxiety can provide a structured and supportive space to explore recurring thought patterns, understand what may be contributing to them, and develop healthier ways of responding. Professional mental health support isn't about proving that something is wrong with you. It's about having a safe space where you can better understand yourself and work through what you're experiencing. At EchoSoul, counseling is about creating a space where you can speak openly without feeling like you have to organize every thought perfectly before you talk about it. Sometimes, understanding yourself begins with simply being able to say, "This is what has been happening in my mind." You don't need to have the perfect explanation. You don't need to know exactly why you're feeling the way you feel. You can simply start with what you're experiencing. From there, a professional can help you explore the patterns beneath the surface and understand what may be keeping those thoughts going. Sometimes, the goal isn't to never have difficult thoughts. Thoughts are part of being human. Worry is part of being human. Uncertainty is part of being human. The goal is learning that you don't have to follow every thought. A thought can appear without becoming a decision. A worry can appear without becoming a prediction. And an uncomfortable feeling can exist without controlling what you do next. You can notice a thought and let it pass. You can question it. You can choose whether it deserves your attention. You are not every thought that enters your mind. So, the next time your mind starts replaying a conversation, predicting an outcome, or searching for an answer that may not exist, pause for a moment. Take a breath and ask yourself, what is actually happening right now? What can I control? And do I really need an answer right now? You may not be able to control every thought that enters your mind. And you don't have to. With self-awareness, practice, and the right support, you can learn how to respond to those thoughts differently. You can create space between the thought and the reaction. And sometimes, that space is where change begins. Whether you are dealing with career confusion, relationship conflicts, or mental fatigue over burdened work, EchoSoul's certified life coaches and counseling psychologists are here to guide you toward a clearer, healthier life path. Book your session today via visiting our website www.echosoul.co.in.